Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the privilege of speaking with you today. I am honored to be standing before a group of individuals who are ready to receive the truth and embrace the power that lies within each of us. Today, I want to speak to you about something that can determine the course of your life. Something that, if left unchecked, can rob you of your potential and your peace. Negative thinking. We are all aware of the power of thoughts. They are the seeds of our actions, and our actions shape our reality. But let me tell you something. Not every thought that crosses your mind is beneficial to you. In fact, many of the thoughts we entertain are the very ones that hold us back, confine us to mediocrity, and limit our potential. Today, we are going to talk about how you can break free from the grip of negative thinking and rise to the fullness of your purpose. It begins with understanding this fundamental truth. Your mind is the battleground. Everything that happens in your life starts in your mind. Your destiny, your success, your happiness, your growth, and your peace all begin with your thoughts. This means that every day we are engaged in a battle for the control of our minds. And the enemy in this battle is negativity. It comes in many forms: doubt, fear, insecurity, bitterness, anger, and even complaint. It whispers lies to you, telling you that you are not good enough, that you are incapable, that you will never succeed. But you must recognize that these lies are not the truth about who you are. You see, the enemy's tactic is to keep you focused on the wrong things. When you focus on the negative, you give it power. Negative thinking is like a poison. It starts small, but if you allow it to take root in your mind, it will begin to grow and spread, consuming your thoughts, your emotions, and even your actions. And once negativity has a hold on you, it is difficult to break free. But I am here to tell you today that it is possible to overcome it. The key is not to fight the negative thoughts directly, but to replace them with the truth about yourself, about your potential, and about your destiny. There is a simple yet profound principle that you must grasp. Your thoughts create your reality. The way you think determines the way you live. If you think small, you will live small. If you think limited, you will live limited. If you think negatively, you will see the world through a lens of defeat, disappointment, and despair. But if you think positively, if you think in alignment with your purpose and your potential, you will begin to see possibilities, opportunities, and victory. The world you experience is a reflection of the thoughts you entertain. I want you to understand that negative thinking is not just about what you think about yourself. It extends to how you view the world around you. It influences how you respond to challenges, how you interact with people, and how you see your future. Negative thinking traps you in a cycle of limitation. It convinces you that you cannot overcome your circumstances, that you cannot rise above your past, and that you cannot achieve your dreams. But that is a lie. You are not defined by your circumstances. You are not defined by your past. You are not defined by your mistakes. You are defined by the power of your thoughts and the strength of your belief. Now let's get to the heart of the matter. How do you kill negative thinking? The first step is to become aware of it. Many of us go through life on autopilot, unaware of the thoughts that dominate our minds. You must take a moment and examine the thoughts that occupy your mind. Are they thoughts of growth, abundance, and possibility, or are they thoughts of fear, doubt, and limitation? The key to transformation is awareness. When you recognize the negative thoughts that are holding you back, you can begin the process of replacing them. The second step is to challenge those thoughts. Negative thoughts often come with a sense of finality. They tell you this is the way things are and they will never change, but that is not the truth. You have the power to change your thoughts, to change your perspective, and to change your life. Ask yourself, is this thought serving me? Is it leading me toward my goals? Is it in alignment with who I am becoming? If the answer is no, then reject it. Do not allow it to take root in your mind. You must actively choose what you allow to take up space in your thinking. The third step is to replace the negative with the positive. This is where the real transformation happens. You must consciously choose to replace negative thoughts. For example, when fear tells you that you will fail, counter it with the truth that you are more than capable, that you were created to succeed, and that failure is simply a stepping stone on the path to success. When doubt tells you that you are not worthy, remind yourself of your worth and your value. When insecurity tells you that you are not enough, affirm to yourself that you are more than enough, that you are a unique individual with a divine purpose and a bright future. But here is the secret. You cannot rely on willpower alone to make this shift. You need a new mindset. This new mindset is rooted in understanding who you are and what you are capable of. When you understand your purpose, when you understand your power, and when you understand the limitless possibilities available to you, you will begin to think differently. Your thoughts will begin to align with your potential, and your actions will follow suit. Finally, I want to say this: negative thinking is a habit, but so is positive thinking. The more you practice positive thinking, the more it becomes your default mode of operation. Over time, you will train your mind to focus on the good, to expect success, and to approach life with a sense of optimism and confidence. The battle for your mind is one when you decide that you will no longer be a prisoner of negative thoughts. You will no longer allow negativity to dictate your reality. You will rise above it. So I encourage you today, kill your negative thinking. Do not let it rob you of your destiny. Do not let it define your life. Replace it with thoughts of hope, thoughts of faith, thoughts of possibility. You are not what your negative thoughts tell you you are. You are who you choose to be. You are powerful. You are capable. You are destined for greatness. And remember, as you go forth from this place, that the mind is the battleground. Guard it, protect it, fill it with the truth, and let your thoughts create the life that you are always meant to live. Thank you. Your thoughts shape your reality in ways that are often unseen but incredibly powerful. The mind is not a passive observer. It is an active force that determines how we perceive ourselves, our circumstances, and the world around us. Every belief, decision, and action we take is rooted in what we think. The thoughts that occupy our minds act as the blueprint for our lives, shaping the outcomes we experience. When we allow negative thoughts to dominate our thinking, we unknowingly create a reality that reflects those thoughts. If we constantly think we are incapable, unlucky, or unworthy, we will manifest a life that mirrors those beliefs. The people we meet, the opportunities we encounter, and the choices we make are all influenced by the way we think. Negative thinking blinds us to the possibilities that exist around us, and we begin to see only obstacles rather than opportunities. On the other hand, when we change the way we think, when we choose to believe in our potential and embrace a mindset of growth and abundance, our reality begins to shift. Positive thoughts open our minds to new possibilities, new ideas, and new ways of approaching life's challenges. We begin to act with confidence, make decisions aligned with our purpose, and create outcomes that reflect our true potential. What we think about consistently will eventually materialize in our actions and our lives. The power of thought is evident in every area of life. Think about a time when you faced a challenge. How you thought about that challenge influenced how you responded. If you thought it was insurmountable, you likely felt defeated or overwhelmed. But if you believed that it was an opportunity for growth, you found a way to navigate through it. The difference between success and failure often lies in how we perceive and respond to the situations we encounter. And that perception is rooted in our thoughts. The mind is constantly working, whether we are aware of it or not. And because our thoughts shape our reality, it is crucial to be mindful of what we allow to take root in our minds. The more we focus on positive, empowering thoughts, the more we create a life that aligns with those thoughts. Every thought is an opportunity to create the life we desire. And it all begins with what we choose to think. Negative thinking limits your potential and peace by constructing mental barriers that hold you back from reaching your true capabilities. These thoughts do not just occupy your mind, they actively shape your beliefs, actions, and interactions in a way that confines you to a narrow, limiting perspective. When you entertain negative thoughts about yourself, others, or the world around you, you start to believe in those limitations, and those beliefs then define your reality. The more you dwell on negative thoughts, the more your mind becomes conditioned to focus on fear, doubt, and inadequacy, which erodes your confidence and keeps you from stepping into opportunities. At its core, negative thinking creates a false narrative, one where failure is inevitable, success is out of reach, and growth is impossible. It creates a cycle of self-doubt that continually reinforces itself. The moment you think you are incapable of achieving something, you have already given up before even trying. That mindset breeds defeatism and inaction, which only deepens the negative thought pattern. In this way, negativity doesn't just affect your mind. It affects your behavior, the decisions you make, and the energy you project into the world. When you allow negativity to take root in your mind, it spreads like a poison, affecting every aspect of your life. Your relationships suffer because negative thinking often leads to unnecessary conflict, misunderstanding, or isolation. In your career, it keeps you from taking risks, pursuing opportunities, and stepping into your potential. Even in your personal growth, negativity keeps you stuck in a state of stagnation, preventing you from evolving into the person you are meant to be. Beyond your external achievements, negative thinking also robs you of inner peace. It creates mental and emotional chaos, filling your mind with constant worry, anxiety, and fear. Instead of experiencing peace of mind, you find yourself constantly battling your own thoughts, leading to stress and exhaustion. This ongoing mental struggle undermines your ability to be present, enjoy the moment, and make decisions based on clarity rather than fear. Ultimately, negative thinking does not serve you. It confines you, diminishes your confidence, and clouds your potential. As long as you allow negativity to dominate your thinking, you will remain trapped in a cycle of limitations, unable to experience the fullness of who you are or achieve the greatness you are capable of. Awareness of negative thoughts is the first and most crucial step toward transformation. Most of us go through life unconsciously, allowing thoughts to enter our minds without ever pausing to evaluate their truth or their impact on our lives. We accept these thoughts as part of who we are, not realizing that they are the very things that shape our reality. It's easy to believe that we are simply the sum of our thoughts, but in reality, we have the power to control them, to choose them, and to change them. The process of breaking free from negative thinking starts with awareness, becoming conscious of the thoughts that you are entertaining and understanding how they are influencing your life. The problem with negative thinking is that it often operates in the background, subtly influencing our emotions and decisions without us even realizing it. Thoughts such as, I can't do this, I'm not good enough, or I'll never succeed are automatic responses that many of us have grown accustomed to. These thoughts occur so frequently that they can feel like part of our identity. We believe these thoughts without ever questioning them, but it's essential to recognize that they are not necessarily the truth. They are merely patterns that have been formed over time, often based on past experiences or fears. To shift your thinking, you must first notice when negativity arises. This requires being present in the moment and paying attention to the narratives playing in your mind. When a negative thought enters, ask yourself, is this thought helping me? Is it aligned with my goals and my potential? By taking a step back and examining your thoughts, you can begin to see them for what they are. Temporary mental patterns that do not have to control you. It's like observing the clouds in the sky. You can notice them without allowing them to define the weather. You don't have to let a passing thought dictate your mood or action. Once you are aware of negative thoughts, you can begin the process of challenging them. Awareness creates a space of choice. Instead of reacting automatically, you now have the opportunity to question the validity of the thought and replace it with something more positive, constructive, and in alignment with your purpose. This conscious awareness is the beginning of breaking the cycle of negativity. Without it, you are merely a passenger in your own mind, allowing negative thoughts to steer you in directions you may never have consciously chosen. Replacing negative thoughts with empowering positive truths is the most effective way to transform your mindset and ultimately your life. Negative thoughts, as we've discussed, often come uninvited and unchecked, creeping into our minds with a sense of inevitability. These thoughts reinforce limitations, fears, and doubts, which then dictate our actions and the way we perceive the world. But the beauty of our minds is that we have the power to change the direction of our thoughts. Instead of allowing negativity to dominate, we can choose to replace it with truths that align with our potential and the life we wish to create. The key to replacing negative thoughts lies in understanding that thoughts are not fact. Just because you think something doesn't make it true. For instance, if you think, I'm not good enough, or I never succeed, you may feel overwhelmed by these thoughts, but they do not define your reality. These thoughts are based on fear, past failures, or external opinions, not on the truth of your potential. By recognizing that these are just thoughts, transient and often untrue, you can begin to shift your focus. The first step in replacing negative thoughts is to challenge their accuracy. Ask yourself, is this thought grounded in fact? Is this thought serving me? Is it helping me move closer to my goals? When you challenge a negative thought, you begin to unravel its power. For example, if you have a thought like, I'll never be successful, challenge it by recalling moments in your life when you've overcome obstacles or achieved things you didn't initially think were possible. The reality is, you have faced challenges and come through stronger each time. And this truth stands in opposition to the negative thought. Once you've identified that a negative thought is untrue, you can replace it with a more empowering truth. Rather than focusing on your perceived shortcomings, turn your attention to your strengths and capabilities. When doubt tells you that you can't, respond with the truth that you are capable, resourceful, and equipped for success. Replace fear with confidence, insecurity with self-worth, and failure with learning and growth. The more you practice replacing negative thoughts with these positive, affirming truths, the more natural it becomes. Over time, your mind will begin to adopt these new patterns of thinking as your default, and your actions will follow suit. Empowering thoughts lead to empowering actions. The more you feed your mind with positive truths about your abilities and potential, the more you will begin to see opportunities, embrace challenges, and take the necessary steps to achieve your goals. The shift from negative thinking to positive thinking is not always instant, but with consistent practice, it becomes a natural part of how you engage with the world. Replacing negativity with truth is a practice that not only improves your mindset, but also transforms the trajectory of your life. Positive thinking is not just an occasional practice. It is a habit that, when cultivated, creates lasting change in your life. Just as negative thinking can become a habitual response to life's challenges, positive thinking can become the default mode that shapes your reactions, decisions, and actions. It's important to understand that habits are formed through repetition and intention. The more you intentionally choose to think positively, the more that thinking pattern will become ingrained in your subconscious, influencing the way you approach every situation. Building a habit of positive thinking begins with consciously choosing to redirect your thoughts. Initially, this might feel like a struggle, especially if your mind has been accustomed to focusing on the negative. But like any habit, the more you practice, the easier it becomes. Start by recognizing when negative thoughts arise and replace them with more constructive and optimistic thoughts. For example, if you face a setback and your immediate thought is, I can't do this, counter it with, I am capable of learning and overcoming challenges. This shift may feel awkward at first, but repetition will slowly make it second nature. Positive thinking does not mean ignoring life's challenges or pretending that everything is always perfect. It simply means choosing to focus on solutions rather than problems, on opportunities rather than obstacles, and on growth rather than limitations. When you embrace this mindset, you start to see challenges as stepping stones rather than insurmountable barriers. You begin to approach every situation with an expectation of success, even if you encounter difficulties along the way. This shift in perspective helps you stay resilient and persistent even when things don't go as planned. The beauty of positive thinking as a habit is that it not only changes your internal world, but also affects the external world. People who think positively tend to attract positive outcomes. When you exude confidence, optimism, and hope, others are drawn to you. Opportunities seem to open up more easily, and you find that you are more likely to succeed in your endeavor. Positive thinking also has a profound impact on your health and well-being, as it reduces stress, boosts your immune system, and improves your overall outlook on life. Ultimately, positive thinking becomes a powerful tool for transformation. It empowers you to create the life you want based on the belief that you are capable of achieving it. It shifts your focus from what is wrong to what can be made right. By practicing and cultivating positive thinking as a habit, you are not just changing the way you think, you are changing the way you live. In conclusion, the power of your thoughts is undeniable. Every day, we are presented with countless opportunities to choose the way we think, and the way we think ultimately determines the life we lead. Negative thinking, if left unchecked, can rob us of our potential, confine us to mediocrity, and diminish our peace. It tells us stories of limitations, fear, and self-doubt that hold us back from stepping into the fullness of who we are meant to be. But the good news is that we are not prisoners of our thoughts. We have the power to change the way we think, and by doing so, change our lives. Awareness is the first step in this transformative process. Without recognizing the negative thoughts that dominate our minds, we cannot begin to change them. But when we become conscious of these thoughts, when we pause and observe the narratives we tell ourselves, we open the door to possibility. This awareness is like the key that unlocks the chains of limitation that negative thinking places on us. Once we are aware, we can challenge the accuracy of these thoughts and replace them with truths that are aligned with our purpose and potential. Replacing negative thoughts with empowering truths is a powerful practice that can gradually rewire our minds. Each time we choose to think positively, to replace fear with courage, doubt with confidence, and insecurity with self-worth, we are reinforcing a new habit of thinking. This habit over time becomes second nature. The more we feed our minds with positive, empowering thoughts, the more our actions will reflect that belief, and the more our reality will align with our potential. And just like negative thinking can become a habit, so can positive thinking. It is a process of intentional practice and repetition. At first, it may feel unnatural, especially if you've been conditioned to think negatively. But by making a conscious effort every day to shift your mindset, you will slowly build a new habit of positive thinking. As this habit takes root, it will begin to affect not only your internal world, but also your external reality. Positive thinking creates resilience, attracts opportunities, builds stronger relationships, and promotes overall well-being. When you begin to expect success, embrace challenges with optimism, and approach life with an open heart, you open the door to a life that is filled with possibility and fulfillment. Ultimately, the choice is yours. Your thoughts will either define you or empower you. depending on what you allow to take root in your mind. If you allow negativity to dominate, it will confine you to a limited reality. But if you choose to cultivate positive thinking, you will unlock your full potential and begin to experience a life that reflects the greatness you were always meant to live. The journey begins with awareness, continues with intentional practice, and results in a life that is transformed by the power of thought. Choose wisely, because your thoughts are not just fleeting ideas. They are the building blocks of your reality.